Are we live?
Oh, Mason, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Oh, Mason. Oh, Mason. I don't think so.
My God.
I don't think so. Therapy
Oh,
army. This is the therapy army. I can see on Twitter there are meltdowns. None more than me having my little meltdown. So big up to everybody. Big up to you. Welcome to the therapy session. We've signed Manchester United have signed their first signing of the summer transfer. Now, what if I would have told you our first signing of the summer transfer was going to be a number 8, not a number 6, not a centre half, not a striker, but a number 8? What you would have said? What are the odds we could have got on that? First of all, Mason Mount, welcome to Manchester United. I really hope that you prove people like me wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm just a guy who lives in Hume and who goes to football games. I'm from South Central Manchester. I've got 2 coaching badges. What do I know? Ten Hag is the manager who wanted you when you were young, when you were a kid. He wanted you at Vitesse. So at the end of the day, I really hope that people like you who quite doubting, I am doubting him, you shut people like me up and make me eat my words. So I'm happy to be wrong, especially if a player performs for Manchester United, because at the end of the day, I win. Manchester United fans win. As a fan base, everybody wins. The club wins. But if you've come, I've posted a thread on Twitter where he's Chelsea fans. I've spoke to 2 of them, and they said to me 2 different point of views. One of them said he's a good player. Yeah, you got him on last year. You got him for a good deal. There you go. The other ones was like, get him out of here, because the guy's become Mason Mount brand. And what better way to literally make that even more official than to go to brand Manchester United? Because I'm sorry, guys, that's all we are. We're not a football club. We are a brand FC. And apparently he signed with a brand that used to look after Beckham and all of this. So it's going to be very interesting. But welcome, nevertheless, welcome. Hopefully you shut us up. Hopefully you're here for the right reasons and you're here for the footballing reasons. But I will say this, and I kick off the discussion. If we do not sign a number 6 or somebody who's defensively more announced in terms of instinctive defensively in that midfield, next season we can get slaughtered. To me, I don't erase those 10 away games last season. They don't go away from my mind. And it's mainly because our midfield was dysfunctional and we got overrun in that area. It wasn't just that area, but other areas, but we got overrun. We didn't have any control of those games. There's 3 results in a football game: win, lose, or draw. I want Manchester United always to lose the right way. Football, you're going to lose. That's what happens in football. But I want to lose the right way. And I don't want to have pathetic performances away from home against the top 10 teams. So big up to everybody. Big up Danny, devil in the detail in the building, not being on the channel for a long, long time. So we'll let you go first. I think people on Twitter are coining you the Mason Mount stand already. But Jarvis, welcome. And Mick, welcome. Danny, talk to me, bro. Are you there?
Yeah, that's weird. Why would people do that? The Mason Mount transfer, I've been pretty consistent. When we were first linked with him, didn't excite me at all. Even now with the transfer seemingly complete, he's not a sign that excites me one bit. Doesn't suit my personal preference. And you know me, Nerden, I've been telling you for a while now. I don't operate off my personal preference anymore. I could do that with Fergie, because we lived with him as a manager for so long. I could demand certain things that I liked, knowing that he liked them too. But in reality, he was leading me that way. And then would deliver something. I'm like, I like it if we can get a new winger. And then we get a new winger, imagine that. And the winger would do well and we win trophies. Or I want a new striker, he buys Van Persie. I can't operate that way with Man United anymore. I have to go with the manager's preference, or at least try to understand why the manager would want to play like Mason Mount. And I can see the manager's point of view. Mason Mount is a player who, off the ball, defensively and offensively, is actually excellent. He's excellent with and without the football. Technically, he's actually better than people give him credit for. He's not a playmaker, but his ball security is pretty good. He does have what I call a special move on a half turn. The Man United fans who talk about playing on a half turn, who don't like Mason Mount, those fans baffle me because Mason Mount's pretty good on the half turn. He's pretty good under pressure. So I can see why the manager wants him. And when I think back to games like Brighton and the way we were trying to press towards the end of the season, and I'm watching Eriksen in that role, I insert Mason Mount. I see how that structure in midfield works better. So, I'm not Mason Mount defensively. I could just see the man's point of view and why he wants to play. The profile makes sense for what he wants. It's not what I want. I want a deep line playmaker. The manager has decided he wants an advanced eight. Fine. No issues there. One thing that I've already disagreed with you on, Nuruddin, it didn't take very long. The price for me, I think we've overpaid, but only slightly. I think maybe by 10 million, which for me, I'm not going to cry about. I know you were annoyed about the reports about what he's making. I think we can unpack that later. I'll let the boys give their initial thoughts first before I get into all of that.
No, not really. To be fair, not really. To me, you know what? Nobody really knows truly. I never get really, unless I know that from a good source that that person is earning that much. And I don't tend to pocket watch that often, to be fair. I don't tend to pocket watch. I just know that the club were briefing in a certain way that they wanted a wage cap. That's what they were. That's what they were edging
Yeah,
for.
I think they wanted to set it at 200 and anything else bonuses. Which,
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way, we can get into that later. I guess. I'll let
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I was annoyed at the fact that it's 60 million for a guy who's got a year left on his contract. That to me personally, that's a travesty. He should be at least 40. 45 to 50 with add-ons. That's what.
Well, I guess we'll get into that deeper in a minute. But just initial thoughts about the signing. I think it's a good signing. I expect him to be a good player for Man United. I expect him to give us 7 out of 10 every week with some better performances. Where I disagreed with you though was on this thing about the away form. People need to understand that against the bottom half teams, our away record's pretty good. And by the way, I don't think anybody had a good away record against the top 10. I know Sky Sports have, brainwashed everybody into thinking Man United had the poorest record away from home. We certainly had some of the biggest defeats. That's a fact. Some of the most embarrassing defeats. That's a fact. But go look at Man City's away record against
some of the most lackluster performance.
Yeah, but go look at Man City's away record against the top 10. It doesn't make for great reading. And for me, year one under 10 hug, there was always going to be something. So if it's the top 10, the teams with the most quality are giving you the most problems away from home. That's a box you want to try. That's something you want to address going into your second season. That's a challenge. No issues. Let's see how we meet that challenge. And Mason Mount, again, for me, it's so many games last season where, and I'll end on this, Ten Hag can't have another season where every manager knows the first substitution he's going to make on the hour. And you can't keep going into second halves away from home in the Premier League with a midfielder whose legs are going to disappear and every manager can anticipate your first move. So that's why this Mason Mount signing is actually, is a big bonus in that regard.
Okay, I'll come back to you as well. The next question, people remind me, please, in the chat, is would that be your first signing? Jarvis, reaction to Mason Mount being, well, to me, till they're holding up the shirt. This club, Jarvis, till they're holding up the shirt, I'm like, but all reports, all journalists have been briefed that the deal is almost done.
There's still the medical left, so if he fails that, we're not getting Mount. But that's just a technicality in my mind. But when it comes to Mount, I like him. I think he will contribute and he will give something new to our team. Last season, I saw a lot of times Martinez. He had great through balls, passing the first press to the midfield, and we lost the ball because they couldn't receive it and turn and progress the ball forward. So I think we will see a better build-up play and we will have a more fluent attack. Last season, also when we couldn't receive the ball in the midfield and turn and progress the ball forward, we always used the wingers. So now we will have more variety. What do you call it? Variation of our play. So I'm excited for the not just the defensive part, but also the offensive part with Mason Mount. He's not Frankie De Jong and Barella, but he has his moments, and I think he's much better than most of our players. We have Ericsson; he can do that, but the problem with Ericsson is the mobility. He's too static, and with Mount, he's not static; he's all over the place. So I think this is actually a good signing from Ten Hag.
Interesting, Mick. It's the same question to your reaction, signing Mason Mount.
Well, first and foremost, you got to remind yourself the domestic window has been open for 2 weeks, so that makes sense that this is the first signing, considering the international window is opening on the 1st. So this is a deal they've been working on for quite a while. So yeah, I mean, if you look at Mason Mount's story, I must be admitting I'm with Danny and I'm with everyone else. Like, I'm not been his biggest fan. I've not been following, but one thing is clear that he had 3-4 different managers on his playing career so far. Like, look at last season, right? The chop and change from actually sacking Tuchel to appointing Graham Potter. Potter was given 8 new player signings. He ended up in a little bit of a gray zone. So that's why I didn't have a good season last season. But, barring that we have a kind of little bit of an aging squad, what everyone is saying, Ericsson doesn't have the legs. McTominay is not good enough. Casemiro is approaching his 30s there. So adding on that extra turbo legs, I mean, he's great off the ball, technical ability. But, if Ten Hag sees something in him and can do something, because we all know that Ten Hag is a fantastic track coach manager. I mean, I'm sure, like, I'm positive that he can get something out of Mason Mount, something that he clearly missed. Like, he hasn't been coached properly for the past year and a half at least. And that's all. I'm just happy that we actually get a signing. So if Ten Hag wants him, I back it.
Yeah. No, without a shadow of a doubt, this is an Erik Ten Hag signing. And I think this is a signing that will either get Erik Ten Hag trending next season, or everybody will be, all the fans and a lot of the fans who are not impressed or who don't have the preference would be saying, what the hell are you doing? He's definitely an Erik Ten Hag signing.
Yeah.
He's
a system player.
The window's open for 2 weeks yet. The international window's not open yet. But players have agreed deals. Yeah, they've not signed. They've not had medicals. But other teams have got a lot of work done. We're looking at now tonight, Timber agreed with Arsenal, 40 million. Madison, 40 million. So this is why I'm talking about the price, 60 million with add-ons. That's why the price is sticky for me, because I'm like, there are cheaper options. Obviously, Timber is the centre half, but Madison, to have Madison off the bench, give Bruno a rest sometimes.
But why would you want Madison? Given that you already have Ericsson, why would you want Madison? Why would you want that type of player?
Well, I would want that type of player.
So I give you an example,
because there's an option off the bench.
No, but this
because
is
I don't want players playing games. I'm burning out.
The angle I'm coming from is this year, and I've encouraged people to do this. Like, if you go back and watch that Brighton FA Cup semi-final and the games after, Ten Hag is sort of showing you how he wants to press moving forward. We saw elements of it that worked well in the early part of the season, but the team obviously got fatigued. How does Madison help you press better? How does he help you counter press better? He doesn't. And this is what frustrates me about fans. You want the best players now are good with and without the football, right? City's best players, their best midfielders, they're good with the ball, excellent without the ball. Bernardo Silva, excellent without the ball. Gundogan, excellent without the ball, right? So that's why Madison, even him, he wouldn't excite me if we were getting him. That signing would make less sense than Mason Mount to me. And that point that is it Jarvis that made about Martinez breaking lines and finding Mount. Don't forget, it was weird. I didn't understand why it took Erik Ten Hag so long to commit to playing Luke Shaw inverted. And if you remember, Nuruddin, he committed to it just before Martinez got injured.
Yeah.
But Shaw had to play centre back. So it won't just be Martinez looking to punch those, break those lines. It will be Luke Shaw as well. And this is where Man United fans need to sort of understand is that the defenders, the fullback, the centre back, they will be responsible for progressing the ball, including your goalkeeper. That's why Onana or somebody like him will be important. Because he'll be once the ball. Because what will happen is if you've got the goalkeeper who can play out from the back, and you've got a fullback, and I'd like another centre back who could do it as well to help Martinez. Your midfielders receive the ball higher up the football pitch, as opposed to have to come in deeper in the way that you'd want De Jong to. Right? There's another way to go about it, and that's where fans are underestimating Erik ten Hag. And I'd recommend you don't underestimate him there. There is a reason why he wants the player. On the price, real quickly, Nuruddin, I agree with you, we've overpaid, but I always say to people, that 40 million figure, where does that come from? What I've noticed with football fans is they become accustomed to certain numbers and just stick to it. And you don't upgrade with the trends in football.
The player's got 1 year left.
Nuruddin, the 30-40 million pound deal, that was 5 years ago. That was 6 years ago. That's the new 50-60, my brother. The 100 grand.
1 year left.
And Maddison is in a team that got relegated. They got relegated, so he's 100% leaving. It's not even a question mark.
No, of course, 100%. But what I'm saying to you is that
40 million pounds but Nuruddin, 40 million pounds for a player that's relegated. You're just comfortable. I've noticed football fans are comfortable with that 30-40 million pound number.
I am. You know why? Because every other signing that's above being 60, majority of times, Manchester United has failed. And I'm
but most football clubs. Listen, no one cares about the 30-40 million pound signing that goes wrong. That's why you don't think about it.
That's what I'm saying to you.
That's all it is, and it's the same with the wages. Like the new 100 grand a week, what used to be for a top earner in Rio's day.
Yeah, it's 200. Yeah, with the rate inflation, we know that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the wages now. You've got Fulham, Aston Villa. Paqueta's making 150 at West Ham.
Yeah.
He's playing for West Ham. Digny's making 165 at Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Aston Villa have 4 players making more than 100 grand a week.
Listen, Rabiot is he was before his contract ran out, was the highest paid player in Italy. So we understand the wages are crazy in the Premier League. Because at the moment that's where the Premier League is 100%. The biggest thing for me is that was that if he had 2 years left, I would understand the 60 million. He's got 1 year left.
Declan Rice has gone for 100 million. He has 1 year left with a 1 year option.
But to me, that's foolishness because for me, David Moyes just setting a number doesn't mean the player is that worth. I'm sorry. I do not play as a number 8. That's Declan Rice or a holding midfield player, if you want, quote unquote, is worth 100 million. To me, that's why I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable that Manchester United have not bought Declan Rice for that amount of money. And I would not want, even though you know how much I love Caicedo, I would not want Manchester United to play 100 million pounds for Caicedo.
He shouldn't be 80, but he's going to be. Grealish shouldn't have cost 100, but he did. And even though he's a treble winner, I don't personally see a 100 million pound player. No. But at the end of the day, they paid what they had to.
No. I understand that. And that's one thing I'm going to be saying that for Manchester United. At least Manchester United are not paying. To me, I just want 50 million players who got something to prove. And I hope that Mason Mount has a lot to prove because according to Chelsea fans, obviously nobody stuck out. But in the last 2 years, they're saying he stunk the place out. Well, the last year and a half, he stunk the place out. Even though his stats might have been good. Big up, Jimmy. Welcome. Jimmy, let me just get your reaction and we'll go to Mickey. Mason Mount, you happy?
I'm happy, just happy with the signing. But, obviously, we talked about this last time to say Mason Mount doesn't get people excited, but one thing I know for a fact is that he's going to be a better.
That might be a good thing.
But I think one thing we can be certain of is he's going to be a better player under Ten Hag than he's been ever in his career. Yeah. So for me, that gives me a lot of confidence to say we're getting a player that we know has got some ability, and then with Ten Hag's coaching, I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be a very useful player to the team.
Mickey.
Nura, for a guy that lives in Hume, it's easy to look at the budget and fume, right? It's a rhyme. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I agree what Jimmy is saying, and coming back to what Danny is also saying, at the end of the day, we're consumers of the game. We are not the KPI holders. We don't decide the budget. So why should we, right? We just want to watch good football.
No, but do you understand my point? When Manchester
I do understand your point. I do understand your point. Yes.
Failed.
Yeah, I do understand your point. But, you know, my footballing knowledge comparing to Danny is superior when his tactics and everything there. He's got a special eagle eye.
No, it's not. No, it's
yes,
not.
It is, Danny. Come on, man. Just giving you a little bit of praise here, man. At the end of the day, like, you know, I agree what people are saying. Like, you know, it's a signing that doesn't really excite a lot of people, but you got to look at, you know, he's a system player in a way. If he fits in Ten Hag's system, he's got a role to play, like, you know, and maybe that's not so exciting, but under what I'm saying, like, you know, give him some time under Erik Ten Hag, and I'm sure that Ten Hag can get the best out of him in his system as well. So I don't know. For me, like eventually, I wasn't really excited when it was like, nah, it cannot be true. We cannot be linked to him. But now when I start to think about it, yeah, let's see. Like, you know, I'm getting excited.
One quick point, Nuruddin. Looking at the way we were playing last season, I've always suspected that most of the ideas that have stuck with Ten Hag and that he's going to bring to Man United were based on what he did with his 21-22 Ajax team, not his 18-19 Ajax team.
Yeah.
And using the base of the team to break lines with an aggressive final third overload, so players being committed into the, you know, final third early is the direction that I felt he was going in last season, Nuruddin. Right?
Yeah.
So now we've got Mason Mount.
Does that mean he's the Donny? He's the Donny in this team.
Not the Donny, but what the signings convinced me that that's the direction he's going in. If I see a De Jong type player arrive, I'll change my mind. But the fact that he's picked Mason Mount as his main number one signing, that's the blueprint, that's the playbook that I'm looking at. It's the Ajax 21-22 playbook.
There's an upgrade on Fred, like a breaking up the play, right?
With that team, it was Timber, it was Martinez, it was Daley Blind, who's like a Swiss Army knife, just actually an intelligent football player. They carried the load for build-up play. It weren't the midfield. And if you're playing Casemiro, Bruno, and Mount, I see a similar trend. But that's not what fans want. Fans want a manager who's going to build play with a midfielder, a centerpiece. But that doesn't seem the direction that Ten Hag's going in at the moment.
To be fair, a lot of times this season he didn't. Like Martinez was our build-up guy, really. And then sometime last year played, he inverted. Juan Bazaka was inverting. It wasn't none of our midfielders, other than that sometimes Eriksen, when he played, he would drop on that, especially on the left, dropping that just to go back into our area and pick up the ball. But we understand that in terms of the build-up is different, and that's why goalkeeper is so
with Onana.
Yeah, and I'm not jumping on the Onana bandwagon, by the way. Diego Costa is the goalkeeper Manchester United. But big up Irfan, welcome. Mason Mount, Manchester United have signed. First signing. You happy? Jumping for joy. I can see the excitement already. We've had a party.
Well, I mean, you know, when we got linked, I was saying I was trying to work out why, you know, and obviously, you know, we can't think because we've got this crazy management, we've got this crazy, you know, sort of, dare I say, you know, sporting directive nonsense. I just didn't know what to say. So, you know, I've been listening, and I do understand it from a Ten Hag practical super fit athlete that we bought. You know, whether you like him or not, you know, whatever you think of the guy, you know, I see why Ten Hag's bought him. You know, is he somebody I wanted? No, but I guess, you know, like I said, I'm looking at youth, a speed, exuberance, athleticism, etc. And I see why he's got him. You know, because one thing we're missing is a super fast, you know, sort of athlete, strong, heavy team. You know, we've got aging players and we've got young, fast players. So I see why he's done it. Is he gonna?
Who's playing the music, by the way?
That must be Mick, yeah.
Mick playing music. Okay.
It might have been mine. I think it might be my TV. So
yeah, that's cool. So basically, I was saying, you know, he doesn't light up my life. He doesn't like as a Man United supporter, but I can see why. I mean, it's interesting that, you know, everyone's telling me this is Ten Hag's signing. I was a bit surprised to think it was, but then the more I think about it, it probably is Ten Hag's signing. Did we need to sign this guy first? I don't know, you know. I thought a Caicedo would be, or actually, no, a striker was the number one priority for us. This type of player is second, or I'd say it's third. I'd say a midfielder like Caicedo is second, you know, priority after the striker in the team, as in if I was managing it. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to look at the positives. I'm trying to look at the fact we got an aging Ericsson, You know, we got a guy who can play a few different positions. You know, regarding the money, Nuruddin, you know, it's English tax again. You know, like, you know, in Manchester we have Charlton tax, yeah, right? In England, in England, we play England tax, where you do pay 10 million, 15 million more for the great English players. So I'm not surprised by the fee, to tell you the truth. And, you know, the fees for English players are a little bit crazy at the end of the day. You know, I've said it to you many times before. When are we going to be that team that buys that player for 25 million people that people don't know that becomes that superstar? When are we going to buy that Vidic type signing, you know, that just comes out of nowhere and shocks us all and go, wow, you know, this guy's incredible. I'm hoping that, but that's visual thinking with this crazy team that we support in terms of the crazy owners and everything else, you know.
Yeah. To be fair,
the fan base don't want that.
Listen, there's some kid in Ghana, and the internet, because the way that how globalized football has become, how interconnected we are, all four corners of the world. The idea that you don't know about a certain player who's talented. Yeah. I mean, the idea that Haaland, Atlanta want 86 million for Haaland is the most laughable flipping BS.
Is that what he want, Nuruddin? Is that what he want?
Apparently that's how they want. And apparently the guy who's there, Mick will back me up in this.
I told you this.
80 million from us for Maguire. There's videos
same game.
By the way, me saying Maguire was worth 80 million and he's not a Manchester United player. And that doesn't make me anything great. I just remember looking at that guy going, you're just a hype. That's all you wear. It's just a hype. You're a good old English centre-half. You ain't next level 80 million player. But anyway, that's beside the point. Pick up a record that can maybe test, that can that gives significance to the type of signing he is. Pick up a record, because nobody's overexcited, nobody's overwhelmed, but objectively that could be a good thing, because many a time as Manchester United fans, we've all got gassed, Jarvis. We've all got gassed and thought, "Wow, this is the guy. This guy's going to take us to the next level," and majority of them have failed. By the way, there's over 200 of you in here. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. To me, I just say to Mason Mount, win me over. Win me over.
3 records just come up, 3 7-inches, yeah? One called Notice Me by Sandy, right? 80s house record. What's this one? I Like What You Do For Me, yeah? Young and Co, right? Yeah. And then hang on. The one I wanted to say. Hang on. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Feel the Spirit. There you go. Optimistic. Okay. Yeah, optimism. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. So you got 3 tracks there. And who's that by, Fan? Who's that by?
Feel the Spirit. Let me just fit. Shit, hang on a second. Because this one's got, it's a white, this one. Hold your horses, man. Right. The first one was Young and Co. Sorry, Young and Co. Sandy was Noticed Me. That's the 80s assassin. Oh, yeah. It's Leroy Hudson, the great Leroy Hudson, the soul singer from American from the 70s. Feel the Spirit.
There you go. So Mason Mount is going to be a soulful signing, people. Jarvis.
Yeah.
Can we choose? Can we be critical? Do we carry all the PTSD with the Glazer ownership, with the Glazer still thing dragging on? Do we still keep everything that's going on? And can we choose what's going to be the first signing? Yeah. So the guy who's at Atlanta, his name is Lee Congratson, and he's the same guy who was at Leicester, who ripped us off for Maguire.
Is that true? Is this true?
Yeah.
That's true. Google it.
Fucking hell, man.
I just posted in the private chat.
Oh my God, man.
Atlanta have become a selling club, so they've got in one of the best negotiators who gets the top dollar, mate. He said, all Atlanta owners had to be convinced to give him a job. You know,
wait a second. Wait a second. Can I say something, Nuruddin, right? You know, behind closed doors of all these big clubs around the world, right? When they saw that 80 million pound for sale, were they all looking at who was the guy that fixed up? We need this guy. They're all we need this guy. Is that what happened?
Listen, Harry Maguire is so unique. We wired that 80 million straight. No add-ons, nothing. They built a new training ground, still didn't save them from relegation. And that's why I was glad for ripping this off of Maguire. Take that. Jarvis.
Yeah.
Can we choose who's to sign first, or who's the manager's priority? I think a striker is everywhere screaming for a striker. But to be fair to the club, if you want me to be objective, and it's the only time I've ever been objective, there's not that many great strikers out there that are screaming out.
Also, is international transfer window open yet for us to buy?
No,
tomorrow.
So that probably is another reason as well. Yeah.
Tomorrow. 1st of June. Yeah. Go ahead, Bad Jarvis.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. You know, this window we have the link to several players, and Danny was touching on something. You know, he talked about Luke Shaw was getting inverted, and you know, we do stuff that we never did before. And I had tried to find out what's the reason for this. And we have been doing a lot of things. You know, John Murtogh is not useless all the time, because this season he has made it a priority to improve the analytics department. We have our chief analyst who's Paul Brandt. He came from Blackburn. He's been here since 2013. Not a successful period, but when Ten Hag came in, he brought a lot of new analyst team in, and we have we've been hiring a number of new analysts. I have some names here. He brought with him a guy called Kevin Cage, and we have Luke Wright, Luke Lazenby, so a lot of new guys. And what I have figured out is now we are pinpointing where the errors in our team is, and we have, like, we need a new ball-playing center back. That's Kim. We need a ball-playing goalkeeper. Okay, that's Onana. We need a receiving midfielder who can go on the half turn and progress the ball. Okay, that's Mason Mount. And now we need a new striker. So we are doing the right things in my mind. We have always been linked to the biggest names before, but now we are linked to sensible players who will fit our team. So that's why I'm optimistic this window. And if we can get our targets, I think we will have a good season next year.
Well, don't you think it's an upgrade on actually breaking up the play on a Fred that's on the fire list, and McTominay as well? I mean, this is not the only signing, according to my opinion. It should be at least one more midfield signing.
And you know what?
Do you know what I think?
There we go, Mick. We'll stay with you. To me personally, if this is the only midfield signing, we're fucked. I'm telling you now, we're fucked.
I don't think so. I mean, this is one of many, because as I alluded before, like, you know, the reason why this is the first signing is clear and obvious, because the domestic window has been 2 weeks open before the international window. That opens up tomorrow. So I'm expecting to see a little bit more in the international transfer market. And so far, we don't know. It's been silence of the lamb from the recruitment camp and Erik ten Hag and Murtogh. So we don't know who we linked in the midfield. All we heard about the striker targets, Højlund, Kim Min-jae, and all that stuff, right? So Danny was about to say something, so...
Yeah, one, Norden, you know how many players I could list that excited me at Man United? None of them worked out. The only one that remotely worked out, but I still remember all the chances he missed that season, is Zlatan. Only him. But trust me, he missed a bucket load of sitters that season. Bucket load. Even at good price points. Lindelof for 30 mil is a good price point. Has he wowed you? Does he excite you? Bailly was a good price point. Did he wow you? Did he excite you? Herrera, good price point. Actually, a good player, Herrera, actually, for the price. But so these are just feelings that actually don't matter. I don't say that to be rude, but you need to look beyond your excitement for the signing. Just because you're excited about the signing, it actually doesn't mean anything. And I include myself in this, because I was excited for Sancho, I was excited for Pogba, I was excited for Di Maria. I think, Mkhitaryan, Bundesliga Player of the Year, I was excited when he came in.
Yeah.
What am I excited at? What did it mean in reality? Nothing. Didn't mean anything at all. What I was going to say to you, Mick, was that I think what people are missing, we're going to get closer, especially if we get a goalkeeper that can sweep, not just play it from the back with his feet, but sweep.
Sweep, yeah.
We'll be closer to what Ten Hag wants this team to be without the football, with Mount and a new goalkeeper. And
because you're formalizing that, Cruyff triangles, like you have from the back, from the midfield, pressing on the front as well, with the sweeper keeper, where you're saying that's a totally different ball game, right?
No, what people miss is if you want to be a football team in 2023 that gets close to 70% possession or 65 and over, you have to be excellent without the ball as well. You don't achieve 65% plus possession just being good with the ball. Just having.
You know what that's called? The 5-second rule to win the ball.
Yeah, that's not how you achieve that, by also being excellent without the ball. And if you pay attention to how Ten Hag wants to press and how we could be better as a team pressing. So even the back four squeezing, a part of it is confidence knowing they don't have a sweeper behind them, right? It's a big part of it. So getting the goalkeeper and Mount actually takes us closer to where we want to be without the ball. And that's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it's one of those things when you see it happening, you appreciate it. But no one appreciates the construction of a team pressing well. But when you start to see us counter pressing and scoring counter attacks,
I do.
Once you see those goals,
about that.
and you see how the keeper sweeping and Mason Mount contributes to that, then you understand why the signing makes sense logically.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it's not a signing that excites you, but it's more of a system tactical signing.
Villa, Pau Torres to Villa. Wow, what happened to that kid? That's crazy.
And he's going there for 55 million. In case you're interested,
55 mil.
Wow, I actually like him.
Yeah.
Oh, left sided centre back there, and then we talked about him before. He's a decent player.
Yeah. You know what I'll say,
and he's gonna improve them, and he's gonna improve them a lot. He's a good. He's a decent player.
Listen, I'll say this. One thing that Mason Mount makes sense. How many times have we sat here, Jarvis, and Nick, and how many times after I come back from Old Trafford or after watching the Manchester United game, we did a match reaction where we're like, "What the fuck is going on, Ericsson? Where's the energy? Where is the legs? Where we're all having nightmares. Him just getting one turn, and then boom, his legs. You know what I mean? He hasn't got the energy or the legs to catch up. It's going to be very interesting to see where he's deployed next season, because I genuinely do think we need to start resting some players, because playing in the Champions League and then coming back playing in big games, because emotionally the big Champions League games, even in the group stage, you play in big games this season. So it's going to be very interesting that we need. To me, one of the things that I'm going to be judging Erik ten Hag on is how much he makes use of the squad, because this ain't the Eredivisie, man. One thing, and I'll be very critical if he's here to burn players out again. But I'll go to you quickly, Jimmy. Where's the other position do you think Manchester United really need, other than the obvious striker? Do you think that Manchester United need a second midfield player? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think because I always look at it from the Premier League is so competitive in midfield. You have to be. Everyone has to have the legs all the time. They have to. They have to form a relationship long enough to be able to play with each other. Like you look at Brighton, you look at City, these relationships take time to build. So when you get players that are injured all the time, it never comes together. So we need fit, capable players. I'm not looking for names. I just need players that can play that are going to work in midfield. So yeah, I would say another one definitely. But a striker, yes, 100%. 100%. I think for me, a striker more than a goalkeeper.
Yeah. Regarding the midfield, do you reckon now that Casado is gone after
Casado's gone. It was a bluff. I'll be shocked. Casado's not a Chelsea player. I never bought into it. And in Manchester United, one thing, they're so transparent. It's laughable. I actually think sometimes I'm watching a Mr. Bean film. Big up Andy Tate. Yo, listen, Nanny Berlin, listen, send me a tweet, add me in a tweet or tag me in a tweet if you're on Twitter. Big up to you, brother. Danny, do you think we need a second midfield player? To me, it's vital, because genuinely, I'm not going to lie to you, he's only going to get slower.
I'd like somebody who Mason Mount's versatile, by the way. He can play right wing, central midfield, not central midfield. He can play.
To me, no whatever lie. I actually see Mason Mount as more as a majority of time I've ever watched for Chelsea. He played on the left hand side as an attacking kind of player.
There was a period he played on the right, but for the other midfielder, I would like one. I'd like them to be able to play 6 or 8. And I think there are some gems out there. I put out a tweet the other day. So my gem for last summer was Paulinho.
Yeah, I'll take him all.
Which is very obvious to me that he was going to be a good player.
We said that. Yeah.
That type of positional intelligence. That's why I associate with like Michael Carrick. What you have today is a lot of managers who use legs to cover up for positional intelligence, right? The collective work of the 11 means you don't have to be as an individual as positionally intelligent. So Paulinho stood out to me when I watched him. The gem I think that we could look at. This is just me personal preference. I don't expect it to happen. Ezekiel Palacios at Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
He was expected to be their next star before Enzo, by the way. He came to Europe, I want to say 18 months earlier, maybe even 2 years. But about 18 months earlier, 2 years earlier, but he got an injury. He would have been starring in that World Cup team if it wasn't for that injury, trust me. He can play 6 and 8. And every Man United fan, if you remember Herrera, he's actually quite similar to Herrera in his playing style. Tenacious, intelligent, aggressive interceptor. Yeah. So, he uses intelligence to intercept, but he does it with a certain level of intensity. Build-up play is predictable, does the right things, nothing flashy. Good in tight spaces. What you want, really, you can get it from the goalkeeper.
That sounds like a young Casermiro, doesn't it?
Centre back, all of that. I don't know if you guys remember the Herrera half. He used to do this half turn when he got the ball under pressure. That was really Palacios can do similar things. So that's the type of central midfielder I would like, because at this point, if striker and goalkeeper is going to take up the rest of the budget, then that says to me the midfielder's coming in late July, August. So you're probably looking at a cheaper deal. And I'd much rather see us go for someone like a Palacios who can play a 6 and 8, rather than someone like a Vega at Celta Vigo, who's another advanced 8 that we've been linked with. So
what happened to Sofian Amrabat?
Apparently 30 million, according to reports. That's
not
what
bad shot either.
Apparently. But Manchester United come knocking, and then it becomes another thing.
50.
I think Manchester United have to get tactical. The Malacia signing was interesting because Manchester United weren't linked with him. Well, other than Ten Hag wanted him. But then Leon did the deal, and that's why the deal became very quickly. So we might have to do similar tactics with the money that apparently we've got or we haven't got, and any sales. I'll go to you, Mick. Actually, I'll stay with you, Mick. Oh, have I been to Irfan? Have I been around? Go to Irfan. I personally believe it's absolutely vital Manchester United get another midfield player. And I think one that plays with aggression and intensity. And if you can't get Caicedo, Paulinho for me is the guy, and his stats prove it. Nobody's made more interceptions and won the ball in the Premier League than him. Nobody. And that's why I was quite excited when they wanted Fred, because I was like, okay, we can give him Fred and give him some money, throw him 20 million or 25 million. Paulinho, swap. And I know the player would want to come because we want to play in the Champions League. Come on. Like, this is one of the biggest reasons why getting to the Champions League was so vital. If not, Latvia, I really like Latvia. What I saw of that, I really, really like him.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ev?
I mean, look, you mentioned Lavia. I love that guy, relegated Southampton. Again, not quite the finished article, but a lot of heart, a lot of he just stands out when you see this guy. Again, it's a difficult one because I could name a few names, etc., be positive about it, but I just, again, with United and everything, you just don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know. I mean, the Mount one, would you say it was predictable signing or not? Would you say that this was going to happen?
Listen, this has been Eric Ten Hag signing. Eric Ten Hag prioritized his signing. So it was predictable because he's been linked to him. He likes the player. He admires the player.
But did he need him first, though? Did he need him first, or was he because he was the first deal he could get across the line? Is it what's the reason?
I think so. I think that's what it is more than anything else. I genuinely think that because I think this has been done. Him and Chelsea fell out a long time ago, apparently last season, and they offered him 200 grand, apparently, and he wasn't happy with that. He didn't feel like he was loved. And it's also how the club became very dysfunctional. I think Tuchel, he was one of the guys that was into was gutted when Tuchel got sacked.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a difficult one because with this United team, I'm thinking, so where does it go considering he's got this kind of crazy, this ownership model, this crazy sporting directors? Where does it go? You know, I know a lot of people have been, you know, just been looking online to it. Obviously, a lot of people are happy with the fact that we got, you know, an England player, a national player for the England team. So I get that, but I again, you know, Nurdin, I just got my eyes on the striker. I had my eyes on Kim as a centre back option, and Bayern have got him. And then obviously I wanted Caicedo, and you've already told us he's going to Chelsea. You know, I'm just trying to work out. You know, we've talked about Paulinho a lot last year. You know, I don't think he had a brilliant game against us the second time, but first time I thought it was pretty good. But you know, we know he's got the attributes to be a brilliant player for us. This is such a difficult one to call because, you know, we've talked about it so much, but I just can't get into it because this madness is not good for my mental health with the ownership. It just drives me mad. I just still can't believe what we're going through. It's still, I can't believe any United fan.
Listen, we're gonna come to the ownership in a minute.
No, I mean, look, there's quite a few players. Like I said, I'd take Lavia, you know, I'd have taken Caicedo, I'd take Paulinho, like I said, you know, I'd take Amrabat as well. I'd take all of these players, but you know, I don't know which one is, if any, are actually going to come. But me personally, if you said to me and you tried to depress me and say, look, you can't have anything, maybe you get one player. I'm thinking about to improve last year. You know, the basic thing is the striker, and then the luxury is the midfielder and the defender. They're the luxuries, but we need that striker as soon as possible. We do. You know, yeah.
I actually disagree
in my brain. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually disagree. I think a striker is vital, but I think a midfield player is so vital. I genuinely think a midfield player is so vital.
On an equal level, on equal parity.
No, 100%, because I like, who was saying that? Jimmy was saying
let me play devil's advocate there. Let me play devil's advocate then. If you look at last year, okay, you can talk about an atrocious away record. Like I said, we still managed to get third. And if you were going to like try and, you know, develop the team or make it a little bit better incrementally, yeah, as in like just little by little, yeah. The glaring thing all my rival fans talked about, and I want to see, was the striker. You know, we might get by with the squad as the way it is. We might get by. Obviously, we're going to be weak, you know. But the glaring thing, the biggest thing, was the striker. The fact we don't score any goals. So all my brain's been thinking about that mostly, and not something a lot of United fans have been telling me as well.
No, 100%. Listen, I agree with you. I don't disagree with that. But I think a holding midfield player, a defensive, aggressive who plays with intensity, all of the qualities we just listed about midfielders, and they're available and you can go and get them. I think that is also vital. I think a centre half is also vital because I don't trust Varane. Lindelof has had a really good. It's been good, but I want somebody a bit more aggressive. I just want aggressive players all over the pitch because of the way that he wants to play. That's the type of football. You have to have intensity, aggression. That is one of the. You have to have the legs, the intensity, and the aggression. And I, for one, would give both McTominay and Fred to Fulham.
Yeah, I would. They don't suit the modern game. They don't suit the modern game. No, I don't think they do. But like you said, Nuruddin, this is a tough one because we just don't know what's going to happen. We've got no idea. But like I said, you know, I hope that we get a striker. I really hope we do. I'd love to take a midfielder, but the analysis of husbanding a good fielder only comes from the intelligent side of the Man United support base. It comes from those people who watch the game, who actually see beyond the basics of what's going on, who look at the tactical battles and everything else. That's the intelligent side. Because I don't hear many players, many average fans talk about that. They all talk about the strike or the basic thing. So I'm with you, but I have no faith in Mercer. I have no faith in any of these people. I have no faith in any of them.
Listen, Casermiro throughout the whole, he's been brilliant, but at times he's form dipped, and we found out. So forget even him getting suspended. So the idea that Manchester United do not have a cover for that position is absolutely, I'm dumbfounded. The idea that Manchester United are going to have a cover position in that position, and the games, I'm talking about games away, or whether it's at Anfield, whether it's at Chelsea, whether it's at Etihad, whether it's at Newcastle, they're the games I'm thinking about.
But Nuruddin, we do have cover. We do have cover. He's just not good enough. His name's Scott McTominay.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying to you. But I don't want.
And the thing is that he's a good asset to sell. When that happens, I don't know, but that's why I think that midfielder will come in later in the window. On Casemiro, though, I think when you've got Bruno and Mount ahead of him as opposed to Eriksen in there, doesn't help. It lightens the load for him. The amount of energy.
Well,
the amount the amount of stuff he has to cover up for with Eriksen is just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's too much. But I understand that. But listen, are you confident going with Mount, Bruno, and Casemiro at Anfield next season? At the MT next season? At Newcastle next season? Mick, are you happy with that?
No, I mean, barring that everyone is strengthening the midfield, like, everyone is saying games are won and lost in the midfield, like, so we need to have a world-class midfield as well, and an engine. And the funny thing what you mentioned about, Sofiane Amrabat, like, his agency is CCA Stella, which is Jonathan Burnett, right? He's got 1 year left on his contract. So his market value is currently 30 million euros, right? So I'm surprised that we're not even looking at it, right? So you can get him on the cheap. It's a sort of a signing that nobody really talks about, but it can be a game changer. I'm not happy if we go in with one midfielder like Mason Mount, but I'm sure that Erik ten Hag has this covered. Like, I'm sure he has a plan. Last season he was talking about, he put all his eggs in the basket, constructing his engine midfield regarding Frankie de Jong, right? And lo and behold, Barcelona is probably going to try to force him out again because they're in the financial levers. I don't know what's in Ten Hag's pocket, but, if money is there to spend, would you oppose again if Erik ten Hag goes back for what he originally wanted to add on to his midfield?
No, then there's a flip side to this. In a lot of those games, Ten Hag was just tactically shocking. And a lot of those games came at the back end of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even 3 games a week. And at the end of that sequence of 9 matches, he's playing Arsenal away. Then at the end of that sequence, he's playing Liverpool away, and he's tinkered without the prep time, without the planning time.
Yeah.
And just so at Anfield, for example, in the first few minutes, I noticed it's like we were going man for man with Workhorse. Workhorse was dropping from 10 to DM because Bruno was left wing, and Casemiro was in the left central midfield position. You watch that first goal, look where, Cas nearly gets there to Gakpo. Go and look back at where Casemiro starts from. He starts from the left wing position.
Yeah.
That's not where he's supposed to be. In the Tottenham game, when we dominated them in the first half of the season, he was always in front of the 2 centre-backs. So part of the issues that you saw in those big games were tactical. It weren't just personnel.
No, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Hang on, let me throw it back at Danny then, Nuruddin. Let me throw it back. Is he gonna? We made this point last year about a lot of tactical issues that he got wrong. Yeah, is he gonna learn from those mistakes this year? Is he gonna learn? Because like we said, Liverpool, we should have shut it down at 3:00, at 3-0. It should have close shot, bang. Even if you put 8 in midfield, in defense, etc., he didn't do that. He let it get to 7. Is he gonna make those same tactical mistakes next season?
I hope not. I mean, I tell you what, if he utilizes his squad better and doesn't play the same 11 every week, no matter what, that would help him. If 100%,
he 100%, and that's why you got people like me clutching at Maddison, even though I know Maddison isn't it, but come off the bench to change a bit of it when we need a bit of creativity playing against a low block. That's just.
But quick question, Nuruddin. Why would we get overrun if we went to the Emirates and Arteta is set up with Rice, Havertz, and Odegaard?
Why would we overrun?
Why can't Casemiro? You're telling me Bruno, Casemiro, and Mount couldn't go up against those 3?
Honestly, I doubt it, bro. I genuinely doubt it.
Why couldn't they go up against those 3?
Because I just, you know what? I see Mount as more of a pressing guy. But I've yet to see, like I said, majority of times when I've seen him play, I've seen him playing as a more of a attacking midfield, left, wide kind of guy. I've never seen him in the middle. I've never seen him tracking back or getting into that physical one-on-one. But also winning the ball back.
He's good at that. He's really good at that.
I think
there's a big misconception. See, Chelsea fans that don't rate Mount. One is because he was the poster boy. 2, because he's English, and the xenophobia toward English players is ridiculous on social media. Another thing was...
you know what? There's a history of English players being overhyped. That's why, bro.
Yeah, I know this, but who isn't overhyped these days? João Felix is okay for him to be overhyped, but it's not okay for an English player. Anyway, so Mount, the criticism was final pass, consistency in his finishing, consistency in his final ball. It was never how he interacted with build-up play. In fact, he was Chelsea's outlet a lot of the times in getting to the final third. There's a big misconception about where his weaknesses are. It's not defensively. It's not winning duels. It's not playing on the half term, receiving the ball under pressure.
I think he's on the ball for me personally.
Mason Mount, it's final third.
Yeah.
That's where
Paul,
he frustrated his biggest detractors in the Chelsea fan base.
Yeah.
Was the final
and also, and if you think, if you actually think, guys, that people like Anthony shoot some like the most obvious shots, wait till you see Mason Mount, is that bender from the left-hand side on his right foot, try to go for that far corner. I saw that. That's one of the things that, if I've looked at a player, that's what sticks in my head.
So he's the one that shot down the Chinese spy balloon, right?
The symmetry in Anthony's perfect now. We've got one guy doing it one way, we've got Mount doing it the other way, yeah?
Oh, gosh.
Question for the panel. Why do you think we were better at home in the big matches?
Why do I think we were better at home? Well, I think that the fan base, the fans, have been one of the best this season. I think that since for a lot of time since I've gone, you know, in the past couple of years, this was the best atmosphere for the season. I think the players reacted to that. I think the energy has always been there with Eric Ten Hag coming as a manager, try to get the fans up. Before every game at home, by the way, as soon as you come out this tunnel, he looks at the fans and he does this. He's basically telling the fans, you need to get behind us. The biggest thing, what I noticed, is that we're more in control of the game at home. More in control of the game at home. We dictate more, other than the Chelsea, which was a helter-skelter, because Chelsea came to Old Trafford and could have scored so many and could have matched us for the scoreline. That was the most open game that I saw at Old Trafford. But usually, midfield-wise, the intensity, the aggression, the levels are there. The levels of intensity and aggression, that's the biggest thing I noticed going to majority of home games this season. And that we have more control. Defensively, off the ball, rest defense is really good. Tactically, positionally, where we are, where we need to be, cut out the counter-attacks.
Can I give you an example of what we should see more next season with them? See, everybody wants that midfield's not going to be what you want to be on the ball because of their profiles. Cool. But think about the 2 goals we scored away at the new camp. Right?
Fred, high.
Pressing, winning the ball high up the pitch. Think about the first goal against Fulham.
Yeah.
Counter pressing. Casemiro wins it. The second goal, which goal was it? In fact, both goals against Everton in the first half of the season. I can't remember if it was away at home now. It might have been away from home. Again, goals from counter pressing.
Casemiro wins it. Ronaldo, left foot.
One of them, I think that Anthony won, Bruno won it back. I think what I expect with that midfield, I just expect to see more goals like that next season. Right?
We definitely have had goals like that at home this season.
But away from home,
Leicester, I can give you the Leicester. We destroyed Leicester with that.
Same thing, yeah. With that 1-0 victory, same thing. But I expect to see more goals like that scored next season. What's important though is we get a striker. Because in all of those games, the amount we created 2 big chances within the first 20 minutes in most of these matches and everything. Like clear chances. And goals control games. That's what people don't appreciate it.
Especially the first goal. Especially the first
goal. It won't control the game for the duration after you score, but for the next 10 minutes after you score, you see how it affects the psychology of the players and the confidence they have. And away from home, when you just want that breathing room, right? You want to quiet the opposition crowd, just to give yourself that breathing room. We didn't take those opportunities enough away from home.
Yeah.
But also worth to mention, like, you know, Ten Hag's first season as well, right? To be honest. And we had a very unprecedented season with the World Cup in the middle of the winter and stuff like that. So we were playing 3 games a week, literally, right? Not much to sort of tinker and play around with at the end of the day. So does that take, do you take that in consideration why our away form was poor? Like, because we never had any chance to sort of regroup?
I think the biggest thing for me, what I've noticed with our away form, and I'll bring Jarvis in, is that the level of intensity and aggression are not there. The level of intensity and aggression are not there. We did not match the levels of aggression and intensity. And one game that comes to mind is the Newcastle game. I could not understand what I was watching. Honestly, I could not understand what I was watching. I was just like, wow, what the hell is going on here? Jarvis, talk to me. Talk to me. Manchester United, the striker. What's the striker that, in your opinion, that we need?
I think the question of why we are better at home than away, it's fairly easy. It goes one word, and that's courage, because Ten Hag has a very demanding style, and it demands courage. You have to keep hold of the ball, even when you're under pressure, and you have to move and do the right things. He has these principles, and a lot of those principles is about mentality. So it's easier to be like confident in your own home. So, but when we go away, we feel the pressure. When the ball comes, it's hot potato, and we kick it away. So that's probably the one thing that's the difference between home and away. And I would say next season we will probably see a better United when we go away. Ten Hag will have more time to develop this style, and we will have hopefully better ball playing players.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We can't do this with McTominay and Fred.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, he says the season now, and
but to be fair, necessarily technical ability wise, all three of our midfielders are not going to hold the ball. They're not. They're going to win it back. They're going to win it back. So they're going to press and they're going to win it back. But they're not in terms of dominating.
We saw this in the beginning of the season. Eriksen was like Jesus on the field. Sorry for the blasphemy, but he was he was great. He kept hold of the ball, and I was like, wow, I haven't seen this from a United player for many years. He wasn't afraid to keep hold of the ball. But, he gassed out and during the season and the injury and everything. And then we lost something vital in our team, and we started to struggle. And we won a lot of games, but it wasn't, we didn't control the game as we did before the World Cup.
Okay.
Oh,
Jimmy.
one last point, Odin, before I dip off. Away from home, just staying on that topic, right? A big thing is teams are actually more aggressive away from home pressing. And when you have a goalkeeper that can't help relieve pressure, it encourages the opposition, encourages the crowd. Even look at the way City were backing off Onana in that final, right? They don't do that against David De Gea. They don't even think about doing that because they know they can manipulate him to do what they want. You get a goalkeeper, he also can help you establish control away from home as well, and start attacks quickly and penetrate quickly. That's one thing. One thing that just I couldn't. Just with awe watching that Ajax team, the 21-22 team, Nereden, they just used to penetrate at the first opportunity. As soon as they built, just instantly penetration, get the opposition deep, counter press, win it back, then they've got control.
And then create the overloads. Yeah.
Then the other elements of the technical players would shine through, but not before those first two things. Yeah. Fans just want to see the third step. They don't care too much. For me, too many fans overlook the first and second step. Can you build play quick? Can you penetrate?
No, definitely. Quickly? It's definitely going to be interesting next season.
And if you penetrate quick, it's easier to win second balls. And then, everybody knows. Just go watch Match of the Day. Watch highlights where most goals scored from second balls. So, those are the aspects of Man United's game I expect to be better next season. Not.
Listen.
Not the
second balls last season away from home. We were absolutely shocking. Second balls away from home last season.
Crystal Palace was another one. Eriksen just lost in the midfield. Big up to you guys, though. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Everybody.
Big up
to you, Devils.
Listen, I appreciate you coming on, King. Big up to you. Let me know when the next on the podcast in it. I'll jump on. Love. Jimmy, stay with you.
Yeah, man. I'm struggling a bit. My hay fever's just flared up, so that's why I keep going off. And
have you taken it?
I have. It's not working tonight, man. It's not.
I got the same problem, but
I keep going off, and just
listen, Jimmy. No, listen. Do you know a herbalist in Nottingham? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But
you need to go and see them, bro. You need to go and see them because apparently there's a tea. I forgot the name. I'll try to find out the name. But one of my friends really struggles with hay fever, and he got the tea, and he's all right.
Yeah. But there's so many varieties of the hay fever. There's so many versions. I've had it for 6-7 years now, and I have it all year round. It's called rhinitis. I have it all year round, and it comes on at night. It doesn't come on in the day. I get it
it's
only at
weird,
night.
yeah,
It's always at night. Yeah. It's always at night.
Yeah, it's so weird. What is that about? Why? You know what? When I get the cold sometimes, the cough comes on late at night.
Yep.
I don't know why it comes on at night. I have to take antihistamines at night. And like I said, I'm just looking in there. I can't find it, but I'm sure I've got some downstairs. But bro, always at night.
I can't
Always
stop.
at night.
Nordin, I can't stop sneezing. I'm gonna have to go, man. I can't stop
Listen,
sneezing.
Jimmy.
He's got it bad,
Absolutely,
man.
Jimmy. Listen, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Last
I've
thing
got it
before
bad,
you go.
man.
Listen, last thing before you go. Who do you think the striker's gonna be?
What, the one that we bring in?
Yeah. Do you think it's gonna be a twist with Harry Kane?
Nah. I think Hurricane's
He's not
done.
coming.
I think that's not.
He's
coming.
staying. He's staying.
Never.
He's
They'll
not
never
going
send
anywhere.
him.
I think he'll stay at Spurs. I really do. I think he's going to stay.
He will
But I
stay.
think it will be. I think they will go in for this Osimhen kid. I think he's. I think he'll be the one that we actually.
Nobody's talking about Osimhen anymore, Jimmy.
No.
That's the thing.
Nah. But I think we'll end up going for him. I think
With the
can
new
see that.
money, you reckon?
Yeah, with the new money, I think they'll go in for him. Yeah. I
Wow.
can see
Okay,
that. I can
Let's
see
hope
that.
so, man. Let's hope so.
Let's
Danny.
hope so, yeah.
Let's hope so.
I love the
appreciate
stupid super chat, by the way. Like, the biggest signing we can get this season is the Glazers out.
Oh my god, oh my god, that would be
That's
the greatest.
amazing.
And actually, we're gonna come to that right now. But Jimmy, love and light, brother. I hope you feel
Yeah. Big up, guys. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm not.
No worries,
struggling
man.
a lot.
I
Struggling a
hope
lot
the
tonight,
family
man.
as well, bro. I hope the family as
Yeah,
well.
man.
Love and light, bro.
Yeah,
Peace.
man. Bless, man. Bless.
Take care, man. All the
That's
best,
it, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Easy, man.
Bloody hay fever, right? Honestly, I think I never had it, but I think I'm developing a hay fever thing. 100%. I think I'm developing it. Mick, I'll come to you. Who do you think the striker is going to be for Manchester United before we move on to
Surprise. Nobody knows. That's the thing. Nobody knows. I think I had a podcast this morning with Anil Kandona for TalkSport, and he said the same thing as I think. Like, Kane is too placid to put his foot down to demand, to force a move. So I think he will end up staying.
I mean, his brother is as well. Yeah, his brother.
Yeah.
People, make sure you go and check that out. Great show this morning. Great interview.
So I think he will end up staying, walk away for free, or he will be forced to sign another 6-year, contract with the devil. I mean, clear and obvious, he's got family whispering in his ear, what's best for him. And Kane just wants to play football. That's the thing, right? That's the reason. Like, agents take care of you.
If he stays, he shows zero ambition as a footballer.
Zero ambition. Yeah,
Wow.
true.
Unbelievable.
So I would just, as I said, I would just park it in the back pocket and wait and see what Daniel Levy is doing, because he's desperate for a sell. Daniel Levy is a finance guy. Everyone knows it, right? That's why I'm saying if it's going to be a hurricane, that will be at the end of the window. Bayern tried, knocked on the door. They offered 70 million, apparently. He turned it down. So, hey, come on, man. I said just walk away, focus on other targets. I know he guarantees you 40 goals contribution per year, but if we get new money with Qatari coming in with the 92 Holding Foundation, they clear the deck, they clear the debt and everything. New money coming in as well. I guarantee there will be some form of surprise signing. Maybe an Osimhen, I don't know. A killer.
Well, we definitely need a killer.
I have some input on this, Nurdin, when it comes to striker. I just want to be short. When it comes to strikers and Ten Hag, he hasn't really gone for the out-and-out goal-scoring strikers. Never. At his first Ajax team, he used Tadic from Southampton.
Yeah.
Brought him in, and then he brought in Haller from West Ham, reject West Ham. And now he brought in Weghorst. For him, I think it's to get the system working. If you have a decent striker, he will score goals. He will be provided with a lot of chances.
If we follow that logic, Travis, there's a guy called Scamacca.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to say that Scamacca would have been perfect. West Ham reject, he would come in and sweep the floor with United. That would be perfect.
Go ahead.
This is crazy though, because like I said, Jarvis made an incredible point, because I remember Tadic from Southampton, and I remember Ale. Who was he playing before? Who else? Yeah, right. I would never get these two guys in those positions anywhere near Man United, and yet Ten Hag used them. So it's incredible. I mean, it worries me because You know these teams that think they can do it without a striker. Just look at Haaland this year. I mean, I know it's an obvious example, but look what he did for their team. Just one season. So I'm from the Ferguson school where you need a Van Nistelrooy, you need a proper finisher or a Van Persie. You need one who, when you get the 3 chances, he's going to make one of them, or 2 chances, he's going to score one. And we haven't had a player like that since Van Persie.
I think it would be a Højlund. The reason why I'm saying Højlund, because he's absolutely in love with Benjamin Sesko, according to the recruitment department. And they're similar players. They're explosive. They can play against the back against the goal. Yeah. They can accelerate in the middle, break up play.
That's his weakest point, though, Mick. That's actually the weakest part of his game. Is
hold up play, yeah. No, but he's still under development. That's the thing, right?
That's what I'm saying. But Nuruddin, wouldn't you take 2 of these, like a Højlund, two of them? Wouldn't you take 2 of them, Nuruddin?
Yes. Yeah. Listen, Benjamin Sesko and Haaland.
You can't have one of them uncooked. You can take 2 of them uncooked.
Benjamin Sesko and Haaland, or Haaland and Scamacca.
I don't know, Nuruddin. You've been on about Scamacca all last year. You talked about this guy, but I never saw anything to make me think we should take this guy.
That's David Moyes, and you know what? What I've been saying. Guess who said that? His own teammate, Mikel Antonio, got in trouble with West Ham, coming out on a podcast with YouTubers saying exactly what I've been saying all season. I said before he went there that it's the wrong manager to ever manage him. Scamacca is too much of a footballer for David Moyes. He's too much of a football player.
Yeah. But
he wants a big burly guy to go up there, bully, ruffle, run all day.
A good Weghorst, is that what you're saying?
Well, Weghorst doesn't even do that. Actually, he wants a Duncan Ferguson, and Duncan Ferguson type of striker.
I think at the end of the day, Matt Hargreaves needs to go down to Atlanta, put his fist down to say to this guy, Leicester guy. What was his name? I keep forgetting his name.
Hogan.
Lee. Yeah. To say, listen, don't take a piss out of us, right? I know you conned us for Harry Maguire, but guess
Lee Congleton.
Lee Congleton. Guess what? We're not biting the bullet again. And by the way, speaking of a fluent market, the Declan Rice deal for 105 million, right? Guess how that's interlinked to Manchester United? West Ham is going to use that money to buy Harry Maguire.
Wow, interesting. That's breaking news. News.
No, it does make sense because Harry Maguire is definitely a David Moyes type player, isn't he?
Yeah. If you read One Football today, there was an article there. There's 2 articles in there as well. But that's amazing. So I don't care. West Ham gets money, 105 million for Declan Rice, and they offload a fucking Deadwood.
Yeah. Ivan Toney. Would you guys, any of you take? Would any of you take a cheeky bet on Ivan Toney?
Yeah.
Cheeky bet.
I take
cheeky bet. Yeah. Bet
Højlund, I'd take him and Højlund. I'd take both of those 2. One proven, one not proven yet, but one with potential. I'd take them.
Yeah, but apparently we're in for 2 strikers. But depending on what's going to happen with number 11 as well, nobody's talking about that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Guys, I just want to quickly move on to the next thing. I think Bloomberg is clickbaiting the fans, as similar as Reuters are, because they're telling us Qatar are saying they're winning. I can say, as a Manchester United fan, I think Manchester United are going to win the league next season. Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. So why is it that without them coming out, why do they keep saying Qatar saying they're winning? And I just wanted to ask Mick, is there a truth to any of this about Ratcliffe's deal falling apart due to the other shareholders, the 30% shareholders kicking off? Because they're going to lose out if he just buys the 69% shares, or if he takes 50% shares?
Yes, 100% yes. I've been covering this so much, but there's even legal litigation and filing for the minority of the Class A shareholders as well. This deal has been what's been constructed by Ineos. It's been confusing, right? It's got so many components and down payments, and at the end of the day, his evaluation and his bid never changed. That's the thing. So basically what they're saying is Sheikh Yassim just went straight to the horse's mouth. How much do you want? At the end of the day, everyone walks away with profit. So they are the winning bid. That's the thing. The rest, what when Bloomberg comes out, where the heavyweights comes out, like Bloomberg, where you see the signs of Bloomberg, like Reuters, these guys don't have a dog in the fight with the football transfers. These guys are reporting on business, mergers and acquisitions. That's the fact. That's a fact, you know. And then you can't discredit either. British press have been trying to discredit everything, having a fight with them, causing a shit show, right? I'm not going to mention like Ben Jacobs and so on today, like also flipping and saying, yeah, he's Qatar, right? But also Rio Ferdinand's coming up with confidence to say that, you know, I personally like, you know, I say because I have close connections within 90 Holding Foundation, Qatar investment banks, and that's all I can say. Like, you know, they are confident, they won the bid, and that's it. Okay. The rest.
What's holding it up? Can I ask another question? What's holding it up? Second question to that. Second part of that question is because Avram and Joel haven't decided, but the rest of the siblings sell up.
No. They always wanted to sell. They always want. The feeling is always they always wanted to sell for the right price of money, right? So they always wanted to get that hit that evaluation.
Somebody credible told me the other day that they want 10. They officially thought they're going to get 10 billion for Manchester United.
Yeah, pipe figures.
And I laughed.
What's holding it up?
Stadium, that training ground.
Listen, what's holding it up is three factors, according to my understanding. You know, once you agree the agreement, there's litigations, there's paperwork, and there's also transactions to be made. Number one, you got to make a transaction to clear the bonds and the debts they're owned by Bank of America and all the creditors, right? There's one transaction that needs to be made. Number two is then to pay off the 69% of the agreed premium price to the Glazers in Cayman Island, which can be anything what's been reported about $38 per share per Glazers. And number three is to, you know, one transaction for the Class A shareholders, which is 31% remaining retail shares. So there's three different complicated transactions to be made. So the rest is down to, you know, how they want to announce it and when they want to announce it. And if that's going to be announced, in that case, it's going to be a statement through the Rain Group, not through some British journalist. It's going to be either through Bloomberg or through the website, like, you know, a statement, or an Al Jazeera, for instance, like, which is you know, Qatari based as well. So that's why you're seeing, like, you know, the British journalists are trying to get this story right. Of course, it's the story of the century, and the longer you spin it, the more money you make, the more clicks you make. You know, that's a fact, right? So that's why they're trying to discredit every story that points the other direction.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Makes sense, you know, even if we don't know, it does make sense what you just said, Mick. It does, you know.
Listen, to me, the biggest thing is just dragging on, and I'm just like, if you're Qatar and you want to buy the fucking football club quickly, and fucking buy the club, man. This is a painstaking.
But Nuruddin, you honestly feel that the holdup could be them? It can't be them. It's got to be the.
They're hurting. They can't. No, the thing is, the longer they wait, the more they hurt themselves as well in terms of valuation and everything. They want to just cash out and move on with their investments as well. You know, there's a lot of things. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar deal. This is something that it's not a transfer. This takes time. There's so many people involved in terms of legals, transactions, people. God damn it, like, you know, so many paperwork. It's above our pay grade to understand. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, so I would just say that, you know, eventually it will come. That's the thing. But the good part is that we have the transfer money available as of tomorrow, which is going to be roughly around 250,000 pounds. And once the Glazers are gone, and
250,000.
250 million. Oh, okay.
Million.
250 million, yeah, 260, 250. But that's a guarantee.
That's not included on Manchester United selling players.
No, true. And then on sell on player. But that means then you don't have to panic, because the takeover can take place. Once they come in and clear that debt, you know, the bond and debt, that means that you reset the FFP value as well. That's the thing. So you can push in and add on more money into the transfer kitty. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know who the striker is going to be, but I'm sure that if that's the case, that Sheikh Yassim has probably some signature signing that he wants to gift.
Listen, by the time, I think, unless he does a deal with the Glazers where he gives money now and the Glazers take that money and use it, I don't think it's the transfer window is going to be closed by the time the due diligence is done, because I guarantee you this: Manchester United and the Qatar deal, they're going to look at it with a absolute magnifying glass, and they're going to question every little thing, because that's what Manchester United are. It's not like, it won't be like a Newcastle, it won't be a Man City.
No, the directors.
Like
the thing is,
it's going to be. There's going to be lots of moaning and lots of things done to look over every line and to argue about every point in terms of the Qatar takeover. It's not going to be easy unless Mick, Jarvis, and Irfan, they've done the work already. They're already doing that work.
They're done. The directors' test and ownership is already been completed according to close. What I can tell you, that's already been done. So everything is about, the legal transactions and everything. What's coming out from Bloomberg and Qatar and everyone else is actually correct. That's all I can say for now. But I'm in the gray zone as everyone, as you. Now I'm a fan. Like, I'm just eager and waiting for this to happen, right? So it's a secrecy. It's down to Qatar. It's down to the Glazer family and Rain Group. When is the right time to announce? Now it's Eid Mubarak, as everyone knows. So I do expect within the near, at least, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't want to say anything, but soon.
Okay. Listen, I
get it. What I wanted to say is that we don't have to panic regarding the transfer window, because we can operate.
I am panicked. Yeah. That's where me and you disagree, Mick, because I am panicked. Because I know
it's by default.
Listen, I am panicked because at this moment in time, Arsenal are winning the transfer. Arsenal are winning, even though to me they spent some ludicrous amount of money on Declan Rice. They're winning. They bought Timber tonight. Apparently, they bought the three positions that I said that Arsenal need to strengthen up. They're strengthening. The only one that's missing is a striker. It's a striker. I said they need another creative player up the pitch that can take the pressure on Martinelli or Saka. That is who? That is the German kid.
Yeah.
Who's the Declan Rice? Another Havertz. Yeah, Havertz going to play left or right at times. He's going to be super creative. You'll see the difference, Irfan. You'll see the difference. Have a coach kid and a kid who's just been told to go up front for Chelsea. You're going to see a different player. And I did say they need a centre half. So it's going to be very interesting. And they're getting him for 40 million. If it's Manchester United, if Manchester United knocked an Ajax, it would be 80 million for Timber. Can you imagine that Arsenal getting for fucking 40?
Are they going to get it for 40 though? Are they going to get it for 40?
40. They're getting it for 40, yeah. 40 million. Jarvis, I'll ask you this. If Manchester United do not sign the 5 players that we need, we've signed one down, 4 to go. If we don't get the other 4, I can see next season being a disaster. And that's just not me being pessimistic. You know what? Actually, you should be glad I'm pessimistic, because I said it last season and we finished 3rd. And I was happy to be wrong. I'm always happy to be wrong, because that means Manchester United have done something great. So I am happy. I don't have anything about being wrong. If we don't sign, to me, a goalkeeper, a centre half, and a striker, I can see it's going to be a big struggle next season. And I can also see Eric Ten Hag trending on Twitter next season, knowing our fan base. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I see it, the biggest problem at the moment is we have too many players on high wages, so it's hard to offload players. We can only register 25 for the squad for the season, plus the academy players. We have players like, as we talked about the other day, we have Telles, he's on 93K a week. We have Bailly, he's on 82K a week. We have players who we can't offload to other leagues than the Premier League, and no one seems to want them in the Premier League. So it's going to be hard. And also we have like players like Maguire and other like big name players who's on astronomical wages when you compare to other clubs. I think Maguire is on the same. He was on the same amount as Mo Salah a long time, and there's a difference between those two when it comes to performance and attributes in the Premier League. So our players is hard to offload. That's one big issue. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. I hope the new guy, what's his name again? The
Matt Hargreaves.
Yeah. he will find a magical solution. And another thing is, I think a lot of the player we call the deadwood are happy at United. They're happy sitting on the bench. They're happy getting paid big wages, and I think they like the publicity and all the positive feedback they get for playing for United. So, we don't see any one of them go out and say, "I want to leave."
You mean the ego massage, Jarvis?
Okay,
You playing for Man United. That's what you mean, yeah.
Okay, Jarvis.
Yeah.
Okay, Jarvis, I'll give you a majority of that argument. But I just want to just let the fans know, the fans, especially those at the back who can't hear me, this is what a football club does, right? You see it here. This is in 1 month. In 1 month, this is what a football club can do when it needs to move players on. In 1 month. What Manchester United, we're not a football club, we're a brand. That's all we are. We're a brand and we're not run like a football club. This guy made incredible errors. This guy went to Harrods, splashed it like he was running like a tap. You know what I mean? It's like tap water. And then he realized, damn, I need to do a couple of eBay collections. This man put a whole full sale on eBay. You see that there? Havertz 65 million. Mason Mount 60 million. Mateo Kovacic 25 million. Koulibaly 20 million. Mendy 16 million. Ruben 15 million. Sia 8 million. Kante for free. 208 in a 1 month.
Yeah, but still,
That
it's
is
loss.
a football club that recognizes when it makes mistakes, it can rectify them in 1 fucking month.
Yeah, but there's also loss if you look at it. Like,
No, I understand that. I understand.
Wait a second, Nerdin. Wait a second, Nerdin.
I understand that, but majority, listen, Koulibaly was done out here. They shouldn't even be getting that amount of money for Koulibaly. They shouldn't be getting that many for Mendy since he won the
there's one player missing on that list, and that's
Mason Mount. Mason Mount is a lot.
Lukaku. What about
50
Lukaku?
million.
100 million Lukaku. What's going to happen to 100 million Lukaku?
Well, at this moment in time, he's where he's at, right? And they're not done yet, but they've done it in a fucking month, right?
Okay.
And I'm sorry, that is a football club. That when you make mistakes,
we already know that, Nerdin. We know that, Nerdin. I mean, look, let me just be devil's advocate to what you're saying, showing us this tweet here, yeah? This guy is some crazy American guy who just spent 600 million on offensive signings before this, so this is equally as crazy on the other side where he just got rid of that many, this guy's crazy. He's let's be honest, Nerdin, this is not a balanced club at the moment. This is like a ship like the Titanic that sunk one way and now it's being pushed back the other way. It's crazy. It's not stable. Stable is when you buy 1 or 2 players and you shift 1 or 2 players out, or you methodically build 1 or 1. This is just, to me, it looks like another crazy owner messing around. And like, I know you're impressed by the fact you got rid of so many people, right? I know you are, Nuruddin, but this guy's still crazy, Nuruddin. I won't want anyone like this at our club.
Listen,
I want anyone like crazy.
Listen to me. Football clubs can make mistakes. Yeah, football clubs can make mistakes, right? I do not expect Chelsea to do what they did and how he came in. And apparently, by the way, because of the takeover, he had to spend $1 billion. That's what he had to spend. He tried to
this crazy guy.
Let me finish the point. And he doesn't understand football. Now, people close to him, the people that he hired, are rectifying the mistakes. They bought in already in fucking 3.5 weeks, 208 million. That is fucking unbelievable. Yes, the mistake they made, that can happen. But to bring that, where Manchester United in the last decade have not even bought in more than 80 million for fucking sell-ons, players that they sold, right? 80 million. They've done it in fucking 3 weeks. That's the difference.
Can I play the devil's advocate?
Whatever we say, they're a football club. We're not a fucking football club.
Yeah, but we got to turn the page now because we've been run by the Glazers, and we know that Glazers take time. They have a chain of command of approval. That's the thing. They always drag their feet. Now, I can say that. I can acknowledge that this is smart fire sale, but you've seen that we are now putting out 13 players on fire sale. That means the Glazers are not in control. Glazers would never approve this, because they're always seeing players as an inflated asset towards the evaluation of the club, right? What we are trying to do is exactly what they are doing. We are selling after players on a loss because once the new player coming in, a new owner coming in, it's not that he's signing, it's not his money anymore. He doesn't give a fuck. That's the thing. So for me, I don't care if it's like clearing out for 13 players and get 100 million. At least we're getting after Deadwood. That's well overdue, right? I get your point there, but it's similar to what Manchester United is trying to do now with 13 players fire sale.
But the biggest things that I don't believe Manchester United could ever fucking sell 13 players. I'll be absolutely gobsmacked. My jaw, I'll be like this forever.
I don't understand your point, though. I don't understand it.
What do you mean?
We're run by the most joke owners in the world.
But some people still think we're a football club, though. That's what I'm trying to drum it home. They've made a mistake. Some people still think we're a football club. We're not a fucking football club. We're a brand.
You have a super chat there that, Bowley is an affiliate of the Saudi buyers. That's a good point by Sean Thomas there.
Sean.
Listen, big up Sean. Bowley. Listen, I don't care. Not all of them. And by the way, I would give you that, Sean, if all of them went to fucking Saudi Arabia. No, they haven't. Mount's gone to Manchester United. So how many of them have gone to the Premier League? 3 of them have gone to the Premier League. And one of them has gone to Italy. So that's 4 of them. 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So 4. Yeah. If all 8 of them went to the Saudi League, I understand.
Were they all on obscene wages like Man United players?
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, man. Are you kidding me? Koulibaly, the rate of signings. Koulibaly, Havertz. They were on some serious money. Yes. Mendy on serious money.
I get your point, Nuruddin. And to fill in on that, how many players have we sold this window, and how many players are linked away from our club?
Well, tell us.
Jarvis. The point is no matter how messed up Chelsea is, we're in a different league of being messed up. We're on a different planet. We are. They're nowhere near as messed up as we are. Come on, Nuruddin. This is obvious, please. This is why I understand that. Basically, Nuruddin. See what that tweet, Mick and Jarvis. I pointed to you guys here. When Nuruddin saw that tweet, he got triggered. You see, triggered him. Yeah,
of course I have.
That's why I put it that way, right?
That's what we call a therapy session, right?
Yeah, that's why it's called a therapy session. But I understand.
We can do that in 3 weeks.
Nuruddin, can I ask you, Nuruddin, in your lifetime of watching Man United, have you ever seen Man United do that in any season ever?
No, other than Fergie. Fergie, he got rid of Konchowski's, Hughes.
Oh, Nuruddin, he didn't get rid of 6 or 7 sort of star players in the last 4 or 5 years like that, just like that in one season.
I can give you guys. If this is a therapy session, I give you a piece of advice. I became immune towards this a long time ago because.
I haven't.
You know what I mean? Because I learned the hard way that never let your fear and emotions clog your judgment. You can't see the forest from the tree, but if you calm down a bit, start thinking with logic and reasoning, and that's it. I mean, you gotta just look back and say,
Nuruddin loves the fact. You see, because basically, you know what it is, guys. Is in a dream world, it's like
no. I'm saying that I'm starting to look things positive. Like I don't look backwards nowadays. I'm just moving forward, looking forward.
There's nothing for me to be positive about. I'm sorry. I try to stay real.
But
give me something to fucking shout positive about. And the only positive I'm gonna get is if the fuckers fuck off.
Yeah.
The voters fuck off.
Yeah.
Trust me, you're gonna see a changed fucking man.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say this. You're going to see a changed person, because then we go back to being a football club. You take Manchester away from the stock exchange, right? So that any decisions don't have to do anything to do with the fucking the price of the club and the fucking stock exchange. You take that away. I'm going back to being a football fan.
Let me just put some ice on the whole thing. This might sound crazy, but even if the Sheikh Yassin gets in, the Qataris get in, we don't know what the hell they're going to do, Nuruddin.
But I promise you, whoever takes over, it's not Qatar, it's not Radcliffe, it can be anybody from Timbuktu and a fucking Martian. They're not going to be as bad as the Glazers. I refuse to fucking believe that. that anybody is bad as the Glazers.
Yeah, I agree. But it's still unknown. It's still unknown, though. It's still unknown.
Irfan,
yeah.
I have a suggestion for you. If you have Bon Jovi record behind you, put on the song "Keep the Faith."
I've got loads of songs about keeping the faith. I've got Bon Jovi, but I've got something similar. Yeah.
I get nerd. I get you, Nerdin. Like,
look. At the end of the day, look, Nerdin, right? That Chelsea thing shows me that they're probably the second craziest club in the league after us. And I see that they're just absolutely nuts club. Absolutely crazy. I mean, this psycho Todd Bowley, you know what he wanted to do and it caused the first ruckus? He wanted to come into the dressing room at halftime in games. He wanted to walk into the dressing room, right? And I heard this from quite a few Chelsea fans of mine told me, and they went, no, you can't do that. Owners can't walk into the fucking dressing room in the middle of games, right? So look, they're also crazy, Nerdin. The guy's crazy. Okay?
Football. That's what you do in American basketball and American
football. You don't do that in English football, though. You don't do that. Okay, you just don't. So look, much as I like the buying, selling, and I know it's a dream of yours, again, to get rid of all the deadwood and do it all in 2 weeks. I know it's your dream, Nerdin, right? But the reality is, it's going to take more than that because our disease is so big. But we've got comedy players on stupid wages that are not going to go. We can't read it, Mick. I wish we could read it, but we can't read it. Read it to us.
We forgot to mention this shit that came out today again regarding Manchester. Cheating motherfucking City. 30 million sponsorship payment by an agent or something, not by a sponsor. Did you guys miss the story today? It was breaking news.
Listen, man. Well, all you need to know is that they paid Mancini 1.6 million for 7 to 8 days consulting.
They can't get away from this right now. This is breaking news.
In Dubai,
but guys, look,
they paid Mancini 1.6 million in 8 days coaching consultancy in Dubai. That's all I need to know.
But can I just say something on this, though? Can I say something on this, right? And a few City fans have said this to me. Yeah, I tried to say something. And I said, look, guys, the English love to be the best in the world at everything, especially football, the game they invented, all right? So whether we like it or not, the majority of the Football Association and the people who are the pen pushers, right, love the fact that we've got an English team that just won the treble. They love that. They don't give a shit if they've cheated 6,000 times, right? As long as they win. Because the English have never flipping won anything fair and square. Let's be honest about that, right? So look, what I'm saying to you is you have to get past that. And us lot kicking off and screaming about it makes no difference because the English love the fact, the administrators love the fact that Premier League is at the top. The Premier League rules Europe and you cannot break psychology. No matter if they've cheated 1,000 times, that's the first barrier you've got to get past already.
Yeah. If you missed the article,
it would be the same. Yeah.
Guys, this is coming out on as a documentary as well. But if you missed it, it was even written in Times Sports everywhere. Sort of saying a Mr. figure from the United Arab Emirates paid Manchester City 30 million to cover the sums that were supposed to have come from one of their main sponsors, as leaked to UEFA reports has revealed. So they uncovered this story, basically. It was a broker that paid the money. That's the thing. It's plastered all over it. But that's not part of the 150 charges allegations. This is separate. That's the thing. They're fucked.
Listen, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in it. The Premier League, for me, that's going to be put to the test. The Premier League, how the Premier League treats them. Jarvis, I'm going to come to you. Someone said, Nuruddin, why have you got faith in Arteta can coach Havertz to be a midfielder, but Ten Hag can't make Mount to be number 8? Well, you know why? Because I've saw Xhaka turn into an absolute world beater under Arteta. I didn't see Erik Ten Hag do anything without any of our midfielders. I didn't see any vast improvements in last season. Yes, he's not at the time, 100% guaranteed, but I hope that I can come back and say this and say that you were correct and be sitting here next season towards the first quarter of the season saying, wow, I never knew Mike can do this.
And you know the other thing, the other thing that you've not mentioned so far regarding the next season is are we going to have the player fatigue thing that Liverpool just had? Are we going to go through that, Nuruddin?
Ask Jarvis. Yeah. Ask Jarvis. How many times have we talked about it, Jarvis? How many times have I talked to you about that?
I bet you Bruno next season and Rashford will burn out early. You know, Bruno played over 6,000 minutes this season.
Yeah,
6,000 minutes or something. I think it was
4,000.
4,000.
Listen, Jarvis, that's why I was saying about Maddison. I was saying take Bruno off, bring Maddison on. And you know what? A lot of people didn't think he had a good season, but he's still a super creative footballer. And he's a goal scorer as well. He can get goals. I know that. He's at the Mount getting goals. And he went for 40 million. 40 million. But listen, as Mick yawned, I think it's time to head out.
Yeah, it's been a busy day, man. Seriously,
a really busy day. It started off very early this morning, so make sure you go and check out the interview journalist with Mick this morning.
You got to be wary. These brothers are 1 hour ahead. Remember? Come on, cut back for God's sake.
Jarvis, can you show us outside, please? Come on, show us outside. Show us the sun, man. We want to see the sun.
Wait a second. Have they got daylight? Don't say that. Have you got daylight? Oh my God, you got daylight.
Yeah, it's 10:01 in the.
Wow, look at that, man. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible, mate.
Past midnight shining.
Look,
and it's going to be like that. It's going to be
my
like
light and look at your real light. Look at my artificial one. Look at your real one.
It's going to be like that, Jarvis, till when?
Oh, until end of August or mid of August.
Oh, you look Scandinavians. Lucky you lot. Lucky you boys. Lucky
no, Irfan. No. Listen, it's only Jarvis.
Sweden, no. Yeah. I'm in Gothenburg.
Listen, he's on the north side of Norway, where in the summer it stays like that.
Okay, so north side. Yes, the north, of course.
Yeah, Irfan's got a couple of friends in Norway. I've got
loads of friends in Norway. Loads. I got a lot of friends in Sweden as well. A lot. Yeah.
I see you soon, guys.
Yeah, Stockholm and Gothenburg. So
yeah, nice. We have a party. And
Malmo as well. Yep.
Listen,
and you're gonna spin some plates, right? Okay, cool.
140 minutes we've been live. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel.
I need a break.
Hit that notification bell if you're not already hit that notification, because you know when we're next live. But please make sure
can we just summarize with final question? Yes, no answer, right? That's for everyone. It's a yes, no, which means you can only say yes, no, right? And that's for you, Nuruddin, right? Mason Mount, good signing, yes or no?
No, at this moment, but I hope it's going to be yes.
Hey, listen, it's only one. It's yes or no.
No, at this moment. No, at this moment for me. No.
Jarvis, Mick, go on. Yes, no.
Yes, I would say, because I'm thinking what Danny in the details was saying, Devil in the details was saying, and I see him as a system player that fits Ten Hag's mold. So he can definitely offer towards what we have an aging squad and engine. So yes, but the jury will be out. You know, we will see the proof. Proof will be in the pudding.
Go on, Jarvis.
I hope to be proven
I
wrong.
got a second, Nuruddin. Let Jarvis answer, and then I'm going to say yes or no, and then you can come back in. Go on, Jarvis. Yes or no? Remember, yes or no.
I would say if first it was no.
I say
yes already. Go on.
Yay.
Yes. See yes.
Yay.
I say yes too as well, Nuruddin.
Okay.
I cannot shy away from in the beginning when we linked him. It was a no. That's what I'm saying.
No, because I see this guy as an athletic utility player, and he's better than having an aging utility player. He's a young fresh one. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just
he's an upgrade on Fred. Let's face it, he's an upgrade on Fred.
Yeah, without the doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Can he break up play like Fred can?
Tactically, he's super intelligent.
Yeah.
He's super intelligent tactically. Super in terms of
Southgate says he's intelligent. You know, look, all the fans are saying no.
No.
Craig, no. Look, they're all saying no.
Yeah. Listen, nobody's impressed, but I think that's a good sign. I really think that's a good sign. Because there's zero.
You have no expectations. That's the thing.
There's zero expectations, so that's a good sign.
Yeah,
and that's where we're gonna head out, people. But good night, love and light. Listen, we get there. Go and check out Mick Ruby, McMahon UFC Realist TV, Jarvis Cocker Bowley 77 BOLE 77. Irfan Rainey at Irfan Rainey on Twitter and Irfan Rainey on Instagram.
Big up to all of you.
There you go. And Mick Ruby at Mick Ruby as well, people. Go and hit at him. But yeah, it's been Manchester United have signed a player, and just close to July. We signed the player.
And remember
in July.
Remember to smash a like for the top G, the G in Glazers out.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yes, the top G.
Spot on.
Definitely. Listen, smash a like if you hate Glazers, mate. It's simple as that. Yeah, smash a like if you hate Glazers.
You'll get likes for weeks, Nuruddin, just with that punchline. Just keep using that punchline.
Smash a like if you hate Glazers and you want them gone. There you go. Big up Craig Welby. Listen, big up Susie82. I'm not seeing you for a long time. Big up everybody in the chat. Love and light, people. Take care. Win, lose, or draw. Glazers out. Bankers out. Peace, love, light, always.
Peace.